Okay, now when you're reading pie charts, it's important that you measure the angles rather than sort of approximate by eye. So here we've got a pie chart that's already been drawn for us. We know that the whole pie chart represents 96 pupils. First thing that we are asked to do is find out what fraction of pupils have blue eyes. So it looks like a quarter, but we need to make sure. So we'll measure the size of the angle. We line one side of the angle up with 0, and then we read around to the other side. You can see here that is 90 degrees. So we would write that as 90 out of, we know that the total is 360. So that's 90 out of 360. We could have written a quarter and that would have been correct as well. Okay, either of those would be right. Now, in order to find out how many pupils are represented in a particular slice, we've got to repeat that process. We've got to go up and first of all work out what fraction we're talking about. So for brown, let's line the 0 up there and measure around. Now in the exam paper, this pie chart would be twice as large as it is on this printout, so that will cut nicely the markings on your protractor, but that is 120 degrees. So brown is 120 out of the 360. So we write that as a fraction, and then we know that that is representing 96 pupils in total. So the maths that we have to do here is the 120 out of 360 times 96. On your calculator, you can do that in more than one way. The fraction part is a divide, so you've got 120 divided by 360, and then we multiply that by 96 to get 32. So there are 32 pupils with brown eyes. You could use your fraction button to do this. Now this is quite an old calculator, and my fractions, when I use the fraction button, which is that one there, look like that. So 120 over 360 times 96 will give you the same answer. So you can either use the fraction button or a divide in order to produce the solution to that. Okay, moving on to the next one. The pie chart part of this question is here, so I'll just concentrate on that. The pie chart shows the distribution of GCSE grades in maths obtained by Year 11 pupils at Abercombe Comprehensive. What fraction of the pupils gained grade B? Again, that's pretty certain that that's a quarter, but if we just measure it, I've lined the 0 up there, and you can see that that is going to take you to 90. So you'd either write 90 out of 360, or you could write a quarter. Either of those are fine. For the second part, there are 240 pupils in Year 11. How many gained a grade C or a grade D? So there's the C and there's the D, so I need to work out what that angle there is. So again, line the 0 up with one side, and I'm interested in this angle here. It's not totally clear because of the size of the pie chart, but that is in fact going to be 120 degrees. So it's going to be 120 out of 360, but in this question, the whole pie chart represents 240, so that's what we have to multiply by. So 120 out of 360 times 240 is 80. So 80 pupils gained a grade C or a grade D. Okay, and the last one of these questions that are on these sheets is this one. Bryn carries out a survey to find out which of rugby, hockey, cricket or football, each of 144, so that's the key number, students preferred. He uses the data to draw the following pie chart. Same pattern to the question. First of all, a fraction, then a how many. So the fraction, first of all, for hockey is here. We need to measure that. 0 up with one line of the slice, that's going to be 45 degrees. So the fraction will be 45 out of 360. You could cancel that down further. It doesn't ask you to, so there's no need to. And then how many of the students answered football? Well, we need to measure the size of the slice that represents football. So there's our 0. That's going to take us around again to 120 degrees. So we've got 120 out of 360, and this time it's 144 that we need to multiply that by. Back to our calculator. 120 out of 360 times 144 will be 48. So 48 of the students answered football.